We've been waiting so long, the season's finally here. Soak it up and cheer, cause Timberwolves Talk is here. No need to fear, the wait is now gone. So farewell so long, cause Timberwolves Talk is on. Yeah, Timberwolves Talk is on.
Good to go on December 2nd, 2023. It's already December, man. It's
Crazy,
crazy. It's
man. It's crazy.
crazy. And what, 2 months through the NBA season so far? Is
Yeah,
that what it
yeah, and
is?
it still seems too good to be true that our Wolves, what are we, 14-4, top of the West?
14-4, man. And I think the greatest part is 2 months, two podcasts. That's better than what we usually do. So
Yeah, usually you can always do it the one time, but coming back for a second, that's where we run into some issues. But I think this is our time. I think we might be back. I don't know. I mean, it's been about 2 weeks, huh?
yeah, it's like the gym, man. Once you get in there once, it's always about getting in there the second time. You could be
Yep.
motivated the first time, but if you can have the discipline to go do it again, I think that's where the success happens for us. So we're back in the studio for a second time, which is great. Not the production value from last time, but I like this. I like the old school setup. It's always
Yeah,
good.
we had to catfish you guys a little bit with the studio setup. And maybe you guys were thinking that was how it's going to be every single time, but that's not the case. This is what it's going to be like from now on, I think, for the rest of the season. Me and Chris got some stuff coming up, or at least I have some big life changes. Moving to Guatemala, so I'm hoping we can still keep it running while I'm in Guatemala. I think that'd be a really cool way to stay in touch with Chris. And yeah, just be able to keep watching the Wolves games
Yeah,
or
that'll
watch
be
them
that'll be.
watch them a little bit more.
You're gonna be in like the same time zone, right? Isn't it? Essentially,
Yeah,
or
I
is
think
it
it's
gonna be like a time zone back? Maybe.
yeah, it'll be like an hour off. It's
Oh,
really
it's not
not.
bad.
No, not at all.
Be all about the connection.
All about the connection. Yeah, I think I don't know. It should be okay. It should be good enough. I hope. That's one hope I have is that we can keep it going. But I think the first thing we should jump into, Chris, is I don't know what the first thing we should jump into is. Maybe in season tournament. I'm pretty confused about that, and I think a lot of people are. How did we not make it in?
So, like many others, like you said, I was also a little confused because it ended up being the top three teams in our division all had the same record. The Warriors, Kings, and us were all 3-1, and it's because we all lost to each other. So, the only team we lost to in the in-season tournament was the Kings. The only team the Warriors lost to in the in-season tournament was us, and the only team the Kings lost to in the in-season tournament was the Warriors. So that's what brought us to 3-1. And then at that point, I'm pretty sure it was all about point differential. And I think the Kings were the highest. There was a chance we still could have gotten in when we beat the Thunder, I want to say. I think we needed to beat them by more points, though. I think it had to have been like a 20-point victory over the Thunder in order to even have a chance to get in. And then the Kings and the Warriors played later that night, and the Warriors needed to beat them by like something in the teens, and they didn't end up doing it. So the Kings still made it off point differential. But I will say, I think all in all, it ended up being pretty nice in our favor. We got, instead of playing a really tough team in the in-season tournament, we are able now to play the Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs. So hey, if you're focused on building up on that first seed in the West record, these are some nice games to do it on.
Yeah, and this is why the whole argument with the in-season tournament, like, it doesn't matter. I know that there's a lot of money that the teams get if they win, and that can really affect like a two-way players, but in reality, it doesn't matter. And yeah, like you're saying, we are in a better spot. We get a better schedule because we lost the in-season tournament, and that's where it's confusing to me. Is like it counts for your regular season, like their regular season games, like that just doesn't seem like that makes sense. It doesn't seem like the teams that are going far in the in-season tournament are getting rewarded for it in the right way because they have to play harder games, and that affects their record.
Yeah, I guess like all good points. I don't even really have a counterpoint to it. Like the only thing I've seen so far is it seems like most of the players are like some of the teams are into it for sure. Like I know the Kings took it really seriously. I know the Warriors did too, but it's like I know Finch the other night said like, "Hey, We know there's like in-season tournament implications. We're not going to try to run up the score. Like we're just trying to go out and win a game against the Thunder. So I think there's other teams that like are caring about this more. And then from the other side too, I think one thing it is good for it's a good barometer of kind of where teams are at a fourth of the way into the season.
But is it
You know,
though? If we're not even making the second round and we're a number one team in the West, it's not.
yeah,
It's not accurate.
I think more so like this next round here. Like for teams like I think a good team is the Pacers. The Pacers kind of are off to a hot start here, and now they're gonna have to play, if they make it to the finals here, have to play like a Celtics team or a Bucks team. I think that's a good barometer for maybe a younger team to see where they are. But you're right. Like, yeah, the Wolves are the number one seed right now, not playing in this. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really look at who's in the next round. I know out of our bracket the Kings made it, but yeah, I think it's a cool idea. I
Yep.
wonder if they'll do it again next year.
I think, yeah, I think overall, I think it's a cool idea. Like I like it spices it up a little bit. But I think that there needs to be some tweaks. Why not just have a bracket? All
That's
the
what I was thinking
teams
too.
I know they like having it spread out throughout the season. I know that's what a lot of other leagues do, but like why not just have it be a bracket, have it be 1 week long tournament over the holidays, maybe.
Dude, yeah, I think you're onto something there. And then maybe it's like a little extended break before the actual All-Star break. Like, hey, after this, like after you play a couple games in a row, 2 or 3 games in 4 days, then here's a little like 3 or 4 day break. And then you get
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
the regular season.
I mean, yeah, you don't even have to have it be yeah, I don't know. I don't think it honestly, now that we're talking about it, I don't think that's even possible. I don't think you can take a break and like play that many games back to back or like
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I like you said, I think certain aspects of it were weird, especially for the first time. And I think the courts were, for the most part, I'm going to say the most part, because I actually like the Timberwolves court. I think the courts were a disaster. The viewing pleasure for like dark blue and red courts and black courts was really hard. Like I thought it was really hard to watch.
Yeah, it's just insane. Like they literally went the craziest way they possibly could have went with the courts.
Yeah, it like
Like it's
I don't
so
know.
unnecessary. It was like a fifth grader design. It's like a fifth grader designing Nike ID shoes.
That's actually such a good example.
You
That's a
know,
good
like you give them like, hey, make some crazy shit, and that's what those courts looked like.
you're actually right on that. You know what? A few of them were gray too, and it used to remind me of those like facilities we used to
Yeah,
play in that had like the gray like
yeah, the facilities.
I don't know what
Yeah, that
the
shit
material
burned.
was.
Shit
Rubber,
burned
yeah.
if you got like pushed on that.
Yeah, that's what some of those courts reminded me of. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
I don't know
know.
why can't we go back to like why couldn't they just like kind of design them at? I mean, honestly, what's the like? You don't need to have separate courts, and I'm all for that type of stuff, like the special stuff and like making stuff special. But I don't
Kind of
know.
like they had like the in-season trophy in the middle on all the logos. Like if they just had that with the regular courts, I
Yeah,
could tell it was an in-season game.
what about like back in the day, like the old finals when they'd have the finals trophy in the middle? Like, those are so sick.
Those are sweet. I think they could do that with the in-season trophy. I think that'd be that. Maybe that's what they will do next year because I know a lot of people complain about the courts. So
Yeah. All right. Next topic I want to get into. Um, see, I like coming at it with just these random Timberwolves stuff that I've been seeing. Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant beef. You've been seeing stuff about this?
So funny enough, I saw the actual like I think it was Nice Kicks. You follow them on I
Oh
followed
yeah,
them on
yeah,
Twitter. So that's how I saw it like immediately when it got tweeted. And I'm like I like Twitter because I can just see what other people are saying and reacting to posts. So I scroll through it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. Isn't he with Nike? And then I saw the Adidas tweet like right when they tweeted it. Like barely any people had seen it at that point.
What did they tweet again? I like I completely like I remember seeing it, but I don't remember what
Yeah,
the
it's like you're Dusty about to retire soon or something. And then they deleted the tweet and they came back with an even funnier response like oops, like tried to tweet that off my burner account because Katie has all the burners. It was beautiful marketing play. And there was like somebody did a report on it and they had like I think their stock went up and there was more people buying shoes that day. Like genius marketing right there.
That's so funny. Dude, I love Ant's shoes.
I do too.
I really love them. Like I love shoes also, but like these are the first basketball shoes I've seen in like, dude, I don't know, maybe since like Kobe's even. Like it's been a long time. Oh, dude, all the shoes nowadays are trash. Like the
Yeah.
Jordans, like Luka's shoes, Tatum shoes. Booker's are fine, I think.
I think the golden era of basketball shoes was like the Kobe sixes, the KD sixes,
It's like
some of the older
2012.
LeBrons. Yeah,
2012. It was like LeBron 10s, KD 4s, and Kobe 8s, maybe. Yeah.
those are some good shoes. That's when the hyper dunks were cool too, somewhat.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it was just because we were living in those days, but
Could have been. No,
I think it's definitely went downhill.
I love them too, and I love that like basketball shoes can like get extraordinary prices for some reason. I think they're only 120. So like
Yeah.
in today's shoe market, I feel like that's not bad. Come out on the 16th, 3 colorways I saw. I
Okay.
don't know which one you like the most. He's worn 2 of them. He's worn the blue and then the peach ones.
I like
But
the peach one. I feel like the peach ones are kind of be like I'll probably buy them to be honest, and
the
just to have them.
that'd be cool.
Like
There's some other ones too, like they're for his mom and his grandma. They're like rose colored ones. I don't think he's worn them yet.
okay, that's cool. Yeah, and I guess if we've talked about Anthony Edwards, Michael Jordan comparison, everyone wants to talk about it. First of all,
Nice,
second of
nice.
all, if I would have bought those when they first came out and never touched them and just had them, it's a pretty cool thing to have. So I'm just saying maybe
Is.
these Ant ones would be a solid investment.
It is. I think too at the time when Mike released those, everyone hated them. Like I think it was not a pot like because Converse were still pretty cool.
You gotta watch the movie, bro. There's a whole
I
movie
did.
about it.
I
Yeah,
did. I
classic.
watched Air's a good movie. Yeah, and like everyone didn't like him at first, and he was getting fined by the league. And yeah, it's all about. I think the shoes are very important in creating the player, so it's cool to see he's taken this step.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Speaking of Anthony Edwards, too, sucks he's down and was out for the one game I got to attend this season so far against the Jazz, which was a weird game in itself. But yeah, he had the right hit pointer in the OKC game. Really weird scenario. He was going up for the dunk, and you know those charges where people like they see you going up and they just get under your legs really fast
Yeah,
and try to take them. I've seen some discussion. I wanted
I
to
have
get your
too.
opinion on it.
I
Do you
have
think
too.
those type of charges should be banned where they run up? Like it'd be hard to regulate, but it's kind of like the hip drop tackle in the NFL, what they've been talking about. Kind of that same scenario.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. I feel like this is a rule. I don't know if this is a rule, but like I feel like when you're in the air, if they're not set by the time you're in the air, then how the hell can it be a charge? Because
No, it's not.
it's not a charge.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're moving under his legs while he's in the air, I shouldn't have said charge. It was called a blocking foul, but like
You say it should be a flagrant.
I think it should
It's dangerous.
I don't think people should. I can't say it should be banned because I don't know how you would ban that, like how you'd decipher that from another type of charge. Because like so many of these guys are like, it's not just like getting in front of a guy and they run you over too much anymore. A lot of these guys are like in like extreme athletes and are already in the air when people are trying to take charges. So like, do you decipher that you have to take the charge when the person's still driving and you can't get under them when they're in the air? Like, I don't know how you do that, but yeah, I think it could be a flagrant. Like, I don't see how you can jump under someone when they're in the air.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Um,
Avoid a
yeah,
disaster though. I mean, if Ant breaks his hip or something on 1/4 the way into the season, is I mean, lucky it's just a bone bruise or whatever it was, and
yeah. Let him sit as long as he needs to, man. That's what I don't rush back. He can. I mean, is he gonna be back?
so the day we're filming this, it's Saturday, and they play at 4 p.m. against
Pelicans?
no. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of this?
I just made that up. By the way.
Look it up quick.
Yeah.
They play 4 p.m. against someone not very good. So he's doubtful for this one, and Rudy's also doubtful tonight. That's an interesting
Isn't that
thing that
crazy,
popped up
bro?
too.
Isn't that crazy that we've had a few games here now where it's like we're playing against these teams that aren't that good. Imagine just saying that like a couple years ago.
It's incredible. And
That's what they're saying would be saying about us. Like, oh yeah, we get to play the Wolves today.
that's always how it was. It was always we were the bad team. How do we somehow like go into like the Garden and upset the Celtics? Like, how do we do this? And like, no, it's like we're the best team. And it is funny because you've been seeing now, I think, especially with Rudy popping up, like, hey, we got this little stretch now. This is the time to kind of, ease back if some of these players need a rest. I think this is when they can get it. Oh, it's the Hornets tonight.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of goes directly into Mike Conley too. I wanted to talk about this, how he's been having to play, I think, a little too many minutes for my liking in the first 20 games of the season. Like even in the Jazz game, they couldn't totally close him out at the end. So Mike ended up playing like 36 minutes, and
he's old.
He's
got to be 36 years old, right?
Yes, he's 36. And like Mike has been so vital to this team. I couldn't even imagine not having Mike Conley, running this offense, because behind him, we don't have any true point guards. Like I think Nas a really good player, and he made that apparent against Utah. But like without Mike, I have no clue how this team would function, especially with Little Mac out.
Yeah, we need to. They got to figure out something. You think maybe before the deadline we're going to try to get an actual backup point guard?
Well, that was a topic I was going to bring up, so I think it's good we can segue right into this. I think they do. I think it's going to be hard to make moves at the deadline, obviously, because of the trade we just made last year, which now looks like a good trade, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, the guy that always pops out to Timberwolves fans, I feel like, is Tyus Jones, and he's making $14 million. I just checked before the episode in Washington. To match contracts, it's got to be like Shake Milton, J-Mac, and then I think Troy Brown is the other one that would have to go with them. And then, I mean, you probably have to throw in a couple seconds too. That's just the way these trades have been going recently.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is that worth it? Because Tyus, I don't think Tyus is a backup point guard. I think he's a starting point guard in this league.
Oh, I think so too. What I'm saying is like, if he can be your six man, because like,
well, we already got Nas, bro. Nas is six man.
Yeah, Nas is six man, but Nas has been kind of struggling lately. That's another storyline. I don't know. I think you do need a backup point guard.
Well, realistically, if we're looking into the future, because that's what this team is built around, is in the future. Even though it's very successful right now, we're pretty solid for the next couple of years, I think. What we really need is a starting point guard, because Mike Conley is 36 years old. And it'd be nice to be able to have him come off the bench and have a starting point guard, maybe.
Yeah, it's like the ramifications of all these ginormous salaries right now in the squad is like, there's either going to have to be one of two things that happen. It's going to have to be one of the big men has to get traded, or you're going to lose Kyle Anderson and Mike Conley. So like, and probably more on top of that. It's not just going to be those two. You're probably not going to be able to pay another guy. Yeah, that's when the new tax rules come in. And right now we're in the I don't know how familiar, I'm not too familiar with it myself, but there's a first apron and a second apron of luxury tax. And then, so right now we're in the second apron, and that's like an extraordinary amount of money that they're absolutely not going to pay, which I don't blame them. And we'd be losing draft picks if we stayed in the second apron of luxury tax. So we want to be in the first apron, which the penalties aren't too strict. So they're going to have to get out of the second apron somehow this next off season. And who knows, they might not even want to pay the first apron of luxury tax. Like we know how long of a sales process this has been for the new owners to take over the team. So I don't know. It's interesting. I have no clue how they're going to pivot this offseason, and it's so crazy that we're even talking about this right now with how the team's playing, but it's something they have to think about. So
yeah, for sure. And the trade cat stuff is going to come back up like always, but I don't know.
And now more than ever, like it's such a difficult, like it was a way more difficult decision, I think, now than it was in the past. Like I think I think it was like, hey, you just like bite the bullet, get rid of Rudy, and then go on. But now that Rudy is anchoring the best defense in the league, and like this is Rudy's best season ever, he's gonna be up for his fourth
Bro,
defensive player of the year.
we're not trading either of them. I hate to say it, but we're keeping both of them because they think about the GMs, bro. They made the biggest one of the biggest trades in the history of sports in the last recent years. I would say, it was one of the most hated decisions ever, almost. Like no one
100%.
agreed with it. Like it was everyone said it's the worst trade, and then they had a whole year of it, and still people said it was the worst trade ever. And then now it's working, and it's working so well that we're the number one team in the West. There's no way that they're gonna
Yeah,
move
I
on
mean
after. Kyle Anderson's great, Mike Conley's great, but they're they're players that you can replace. They're role players. They're great role players, but you can replace them.
and that I think is the important part of where, whether Leonard Miller, Wendell Moore, Josh Minot, is next year going to be the time for those guys? It's going to
They are.
have to be, right? It's going
Are they
to,
gonna do anything, dude? I feel like Wendell Moore, like he's been on the team and he just, like
yeah,
he's an NBA player. Like we drafted it. Was he a first round pick?
yeah, you're right. He was a
Like
late
what?
first round pick.
Like why are we giving him so much leeway? Like he hasn't done shit.
Yeah,
He's a
it's,
shooter, bro. He
but
should be.
that's what I'm saying is like, whether you like it or not, those are going to be the guys that are going to fill out the back end of the rotation when some of the core pieces are going to be moved on from. It's not a if, they're going to be moved on from. So you're going to need, luckily you have your first round draft pick this year,
Yep.
or I think more likely you do try to maneuver for a more experienced point guard. I don't know, with how good this starting lineup is and how good this team is, it would make no sense to bring a rookie point guard in to lead it next year. Like I think you need a more experienced point guard to lead it if Conley's leaving
Yeah. It would need to be
for the future.
a steal of a draft. Yeah. We can't be talking about this shit right now, man.
No, I don't know how that. Oh, that all stemmed from the trade talk, but like it's true. It's true because they're going to have to probably bolster up this lineup somehow because there are deficiencies. Like it's been an amazing start of the season so far, but like the offense still isn't clicking as high as we'd want it to be. I think we're 18th in offensive rating, which is awesome still because like we're still figuring it out on offense, and the defense has been so good that we're still the number one team in the West. But I don't know. There's things that need to be shored up on the offensive end. We're still not the healthiest team right now, to be honest, which is a whole nother thing. We talked about that a little bit, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I think Bones Highland. I keep seeing the name, man. He might be traded again. Would you like to take a shot on him, maybe?
Maybe, bro. I love that. Isn't there a crazy YouTube video about him? Like, what? It's some crazy video. I don't. Did he like jump out of like a burning house or something?
I have no clue. Is that real?
I don't. There's some crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta Google this quick.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I don't know. I don't know. Back to regular scheduled programming. I think the Wolves are in a very good spot right now. It's you build up these wins at the beginning of the year, I think can really help you when the rough patches are ultimately going to hit. This team isn't going to be perfect all year, but you build up the stock of wins in the first part, and I think you got out of a really tough start to December and beat some really good teams. So I think the added credibility has been interesting to this Wolves team. I've never heard the national media talk so much about them and like actually get the credit they deserve.
yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. Like, I still am in a state of shock right now that this is even happening, and that's why I don't know. It just feels so weird. Like, how did we get this good? How did it click?
I don't
It's
know.
it's beautiful.
It is weird because like I feel like expectations were kind of low at the beginning of the season. Like we didn't. I think a lot of you know not rational people wanted them to just blow it up and try something new, and they
Ben
stuck with
Gilbert.
it. Then then Gilbert, they stuck with their guns, and props to them for doing that because I don't think any of us expected it was going to look this good to start. So
Oh, yeah, and like you said, the inevitable down periods are going to come. Injuries are going to come, and we just have to hope that it's not a catastrophic injury, but it's going to happen. That stuff happens. Yeah, we go through shooting ruts. It just happens. So we got to be ready. And I hope that the Instagram comments aren't going to be jumping ship after a few losses still.
No, well, Timberwolves fans are smart fans, but they're not always the most rational. So
They're
we'll have to see.
passionate fans.
They're passionate. They are.
All right.
And Target Center has looked like it. It's been awesome to see. So
Yeah. I think that this is the last topic I want to touch on today. And it's very relevant to what's going to happen tonight. Um, it's crazy when these two guys came into the league, it was Ant versus LaMelo, Ant versus LaMelo, Ant versus LaMelo. And now, um, now it kind of has shifted in the last couple of years, and everyone seems to have forgotten about LaMelo Ball. But he's having a great season so far. And I just want to get how far apart are these guys in skill level?
no, it's a good question because I think LaMelo like started off the season really poorly. I think he was averaging 14 points per game, and then his previous 10 games before he went down with the ankle injury were really good. He was averaging like 30 points. I don't know if he was averaging a double double, but it was really really close. And I don't like skill wise, I had him. I think that was my first mock draft was LaMelo in it instead of Ant. And like LaMelo's a really good player. It sucks he went down with another injury, and this one's pretty severe. So this could be a couple months, weeks.
Oh, really? I wasn't even aware that happened.
Yeah, I think it was another ankle injury of sorts. Those Ball brothers have really bad luck with
Yeah.
injuries. So that's too bad to see. But like you said, I think Ant has had more team success, but like individual stat wise, I think LaMelo is potentially just as talented as Ant. It stinks that he's kind of got to grown in a much worse situation, I think, than Ant. Like I wonder how it would be different if they put LaMelo on the Timberwolves right now. Like how his career would turn out, how Ant's would be if he was on the Hornets. I don't know. That'd be an interesting hypothetical.
Yeah, it's
I think we
cool.
got the right guy though.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's cool kind of that that was the draft class that we started with.
Very good draft class too. Very good draft class. Is that our friend Alan in the back? You guys remember Alan last episode?
Yeah, Alan killed it last episode. I mean, all right, before we wrap it up, we just gotta say, I think we should say thank you to everyone for um thank you to everyone for tuning in, man. Like I was not expecting to have that much.
Yeah, a lot of good interaction in the comments. Like I think not a lot of fan bases just come back after long hiatuses and
Yeah, I
support.
thought we
So
lost you. I thought we lost you guys, to be honest. I was like, we'll put this out. Like I was very hesitant. I was like, all right, we'll do it, see if anything comes from it. But I'm not gonna have my hopes high. But boom, it was awesome and it made us want to come back. So thank you guys. I know Chris and King Physique got to work on a dance that they will be performing maybe
yeah,
by next episode.
we hit both of our goals, man. We hit the like and the
The
comment
comment
goal.
one was stupid. I'd like I don't know. I think
Well, I mean, I think if I'm doing the dance, and I think we need another you have a studio now at school, so you could really make this. You could make it up nice.
yeah, I'm all for it. All I'm saying is the comments was a little questionable because it was us commenting back on people that counts as a comment. Some guy just commented 20, 21, 20, likes you can't make up. Comments you can. I think if we get 20 likes on this video, I will sing.
Okay, 20 likes on this video.
Yeah.
Peyton does the sing along again. That's a good one.
Yeah. I think that's a very fair. That makes more sense to me. The comments rub me the wrong way.
All right. I can do that. I'll have to get a little space, and I think honestly, King should, if he feels so inclined, maybe get us another dance because like I think that's what the people would want to see would be a new dance.
No, that's the thing. Is you and King, or I think King would make up the dance.
Yeah, now I'd
And
have to
then
recreate it.
you recreate it, or you guys could even get crazy and like do like a duet almost. Like he dances for a few seconds, passes it to you, you dance back to King, and then we edit it up together. I think that could be pretty electric, honestly.
All right, stay tuned. Something will be coming, and I'll
Something
do
will
it
be
100%.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Chris, have yourself a nice day.
You as well.